Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler, and I am live in San Francisco, California. And I hope everybody is having a great day. Greetings, chat. I got to be able to see the chat, by the way. That's always helpful. How's it going? LT Showcase, Bear, Surly Unicorn, Nicholas Horton, Alan Massey, Mark Lazurth, Bookily, Alvarian Lumacara, Uncle Remus, Karis. Greetings, everybody, and we have a few things to talk about today. A lot of it is Star Trek. Wow, they had an embarrassing weekend, didn't they? Well, we all saw, I guess some of you might have seen my video on Walter Mosley, and, embarrassingly, I wasn't really super aware of how prolific of a writer he was. And it certainly would have been an addition to Star Trek Discovery, a much needed addition to, greetings in the UK, by the way, to have him in the writer's room. And we talked about this on the Inquisition a bit. And, I didn't really talk about the follow-up from CBS, which was really kind of a F you, see you later, we're not going to miss you, and very typical from what is quite obviously one of the more toxic workplaces in genre, we'll say. Considering, what they've done to Brian Fuller. Brian Fuller got screwed, and that doesn't get talked about enough. However, whatever you like about the guy or don't like about the guy, I like some of his work. I really did like American Gods Season 1 and American Gods Season 2. Sucked so bad I didn't finish it, and he wasn't involved. Hannibal was good, and that's all I really know of him other than his work on Star Trek. I can tell you right now, Star Trek Discovery would have been better if he was involved. They also, in my opinion, ripped off Anas Abdeen, our good friend Anas Abdeen. If you're not familiar, let me remind you that Anas Abdeen created the point-and-click adventure game Tardigrades. Tardigrades has a giant blue tardigrade that travels instantaneously in time and space. Not a normal thing to see in science fiction. As a matter of fact, that is the first I heard of it was from Star Trek, but the first I heard of his game was, I believe, the third or fourth episode. People started chiming in because I believe it or not, I do live reviews of television shows, but there just hasn't been any television shows to do lately, weekly shows. And I was doing a live show on Star Trek Discovery Season 1, and people were chiming in, hey, have you heard this game? This is ripped off. And at the time, I was like, what? Looked into it, got to know Anas a little bit. We've, spoken on DMs on Twitter. And really nice guy, by the way, has never asked for a penny of money. As a matter of fact, there is a shirt that I had made for myself from the guys at Popcast, made this shirt for me. Which I can't find since I got back from Star Trek Las Vegas. It's in one of my drawers somewhere, but I'll find it. And it says Justice for Anas, and I rolled around Star Trek Las Vegas with the Justice for Anas shirt. It was fun. Thank you, by the way. The guys produced the shirt. I guess we're going to start selling that shirt. And I wanted to wait to hear from Anas, who's never asked for anything for his case. And still doesn't. I offered him, my proceeds from the shirt. He didn't want them. He wants them to go to charity. So that's where they're going to go. And I get to pick the charity. I haven't picked it yet, but I will. And once I get a hold of the Popcast guys, which I promised them to call them, and then we can never connect, but we'll probably will today or tomorrow. And we'll get those available, and I'll find out what charity we're going to donate to, and we'll make it all good. So they ripped off. Those are the Nerdrotic dogs in the background. So in my opinion, they ripped off Anas Abdeen. And, it sounds like, well, if you look at what they have done with Star Trek Discovery Season 1, Star Trek Discovery Season 2, they've kibed a lot of things from other things. And, God dang it, hang on. There's somebody at my door. Hang on just a second. You're going to have to look at the Nerdrotic logo. For 2 seconds. Hang in there. I do apologize. 1 second. Dang it. back. Thanks for holding in there. Where was I? Anas Abdeen. So they have taken a lot of things. In the final episode alone, they borrowed from Anti-Trekker kept good track of this too. They borrowed from 2001. Well, they didn't borrow. They stole from 2001: A Space Odyssey. They stole from Battlestar Galactica. They stole from Star Wars. They stole from themselves. They stole from a bad Terminator movie, and they stole from Inception. That was all in one episode of television. And maybe I should just do a isolated long form review on that. That would probably be pretty good. I'm waiting for the Blu-ray to come out, and I'm going to do my season 2 review of Star Trek Discovery on the Blu-ray. So, it was the FedEx guy at the door. It was the FedEx guy, but my dogs would not have stopped until I went there. So, they go a little crazy, but it's good to have very loud dogs. It's a very good thing to have. Trust me on that one. Dogs can sense evil, CBS, says Taz. That is true. That is true. Thanks for hanging in there. Sorry about that. Live. So Star Trek's had a bad weekend, and that makes me happy. And then we hear this. So I got a video coming out on this, probably right after this airs. So I don't know. Have you guys heard? And maybe I missed it, and I possibly could have. I'll check my phone again. But have you guys heard that Star Trek Picard is getting a season 2? Did anybody hear that? Yes? No? Maybe? Because apparently it is. So, and apparently it's been out there for quite some time, and I didn't notice it. And maybe nobody cared. So I checked with one of my guys, and I said, is it, I kind of assumed it was going to happen anyway. We're in the streaming wars, and so people knew. I didn't know. I had no idea. So yeah, we're getting a Star Trek Discovery season 2. It is a go. I don't think they've made it official, but they've mentioned it in a bunch of articles on comicbook.com. And especially in the Robert Picardo is in talks to be in Star Trek Discovery or Star Trek Picard season 2. And I didn't see any, that was announced on July 30th. So I either completely missed it or what, but yeah, it is happening. I don't think they've made an official announcement yet. And I don't know if all the I's are dotted or T's are crossed, but it was just mentioned in a recent article that is extreme bad news. Sorry to start this off with bad news, but let's get to that article right away. And it's about Picard. It's about Star Trek Picard. There we go. And it's from the CBS-owned shill site, comicbook.com. And maybe I'll just do the live stream and not do a video. I could do a video on a million things right now. And this would not be one of the, whoops, let's go right there. There we go. How Star Trek Picard ties 3 Star Trek series together. Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse. So we all love Star Trek. We all love the 50 plus years of canon that apparently Alex Kurtzman and Michelle Paradise and Michael Chabon, who I've got some thoughts on Michael Chabon in a second, are going to be in charge of moving the entire franchise forward, not just Picard. No. Oh, no. In 2020, Patrick Stewart will return to his beloved role as Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek The Next Generation, the new CBS all-ass series. Star Trek Picard catches up with Picard 2 decades after the events of the film Star Trek Nemesis. He's no longer a Starfleet captain, but embarks on another adventure to help a girl that has some kind of connection to him and is the key to everything. Let's all say it together. Star Trek Picard is an obvious successor to the Star Trek The Next Generation, but it's more than that as well. With the information about the series and its stars has come out over the past few months, it is now clear that Star Trek Picard is the successor to all 50 plus years of Star Trek that came before it, and 3 Star Trek series in particular. So they talk about Star Trek The Next Generation. The show's most obvious predecessor is The Next Generation. Nemesis was not intended to be final adventure of Picard and his crew. The poor reception that Nemesis received at the box office led Paramount to believe that the film needed a rest. And, well, you would think it would certainly need one after the latest Paramount Star Trek pictures we received. But they decided to reuse that same aesthetic and put it into a TV show because it didn't work before, so maybe it'll work again. As a result, most fans felt Picard didn't get the send-off he deserved. I just imagine all good things as a send-off. He remained aboard the Enterprise after the death of Data and the departure of Riker and Troy to end his story with him watching as his surrogate family grew apart felt sad and unsatisfying. Well, you know what? All of Alex Kurtzman's Star Trek feels sad and unsatisfying, so I that hasn't changed, to be honest with you. So they're bringing back the Borg, blah, 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 Borg. Okay, then we got the obvious Voyager connection because of Borg and because of Jerry Ryan. And they're going to use what hopefully you guys saw my video about how they, in my opinion, ripped off Brian Fuller. And that's why they're including Jerry Ryan's 7 of 9. There's going to be some kind of allegory for immigration going on here. Because they can't, Hollywood just can't leave the politics or anything. And they think, and there's one thing to be a real Star Trek writer and use Star Trek as a morality tale or, use it for allegory. And then it's another thing to be, somebody who's not talented, like Alex Kurtzman, in my opinion, to do that and not pull it off. But let's get to the original series. In a way, Star Trek Picard is a follow-up to the original Star Trek by being a follow-up to Star Trek The Next Generation, but the ties are deeper than that. A key 2-part episode of Star Trek The Next Generation Reunification guest starred Leonard Nimoy as Spock. The episode involves Spock's clandestine attempts to reunify the Romulan and Vulcan peoples. Nimoy returned as Spock in the 2009 Star Trek film. We all try to forget all this now. The film revealed that a supernova destroyed Romulus. I refuse to believe. Spock's attempts to curb the destruction sent him through time, creating the alternate Kelvin timeline, which is pretty much dead and gone. From what we know about Star Trek Picard, Picard retired from Starfleet after leading a rescue fleet. It's assumed that this fleet formed in response to the destruction of Romulus. We also know that the members of Picard's new crew are displaced Romulans. By following up on the destruction of Romulus, Star Trek Picard is adding a new chapter to the legacy of Spock. Are you excited to see these Star Trek storylines come together in Star Trek Picard? Hell no. And I'll get back to that. But if we go right here, this is at the end of the Voyager one. Robert Picardo who played the holographic doctor in Star Trek Voyager, says he's in talks to return in the second season of Star Trek Picard. All right. So am I excited that these writers are going to be involved in moving the story forward? Hell no. Hell no. I, along with about 10,000 other people, watched Star Trek Discovery Season 2. And I watched what they did to Spock. I can't call him Spock because he wasn't Spock. He was Spock. They Jake Skywalkered Spock. And the people involved in Picard, I will preface, my hope is that Star Trek Picard is good. I want it to be good. That is my desire, but we know hope is not a strategy. But it is at CBS for some reason. So while Alex Kurtzman, creator and destroyer of the Dark Universe that never happened, and the defunct Spider-Man cinematic universe, one of the 3 that were out there, and Akiva Goldsman, who was loosely connected to Nipples on the Batsuit, wrote multiple Star Trek Discovery Season 1 episodes, wrote the Trash Titan series, which I just watched a couple days ago, the premiere of Season 2, which completely undid everything from Season 1 and actually looked worse and cheaper and is pretty much the Star Trek Discovery of superhero shows. That Akiva Goldsman. Also, Sonar in Space, Akiva Goldsman, he wrote that episode. And then, of course, we have Star Trek Picard being run by Michael Chabon. Okay, he wrote a Pulitzer Prize winning book. He also wrote Calypso. What was in Calypso? A shooting star in deep space. So hell no, I don't want any of these people involved with moving the legacy of Star Trek forward at all. I saw what they did to Spock. What are they going to do to Picard? He's going to be following around MacGuffin Girl all the time? Hell no. Hell no. But, maybe we could get something good. And if we get something good, I will freely admit it. I will say, hey, thank God we've got good Star Trek despite Kurtzman's name being on it. I actually enjoy it. And let's talk about good Star Trek and, let the healing begin. But it can't begin, in my opinion, because with absolutely everything, every business entity, any club, any collective, anything, if it has a leader, that leader's personality permeates through whatever the organization or entity is. It adopts the personality of the person in charge. So, if the personality of Star Trek Discovery is Alex Kurtzman, that doesn't look like, that's not a personality I'd want to hang with. It's not a personality that really shows, any talent, any possibility of any hope of anything good. And I think that Walter Mosley, his op-ed was, I wouldn't say it's eye-opening. I would say it's confirmation of a lot of things we already knew. And, comicbook.com and the Hollywood Reporter have tried to spin that as much as they can. Good luck. It all comes down to the end product on the screen. Forget all of the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, the same thing goes for Star Wars. Forget the leaks and the rumor, whatever. Content on the screen. What have you given us? Disney Star Wars. They gave us one pretty good movie. Solo was not a good movie. Infest Nest. Come on, please. And then L337. Rogue One was saved by the end. The Force Awakens was a soft reboot of Star Wars. The Last Jedi was garbage. I don't think they can fix that. Star Trek is the same way. Star Trek Discovery was bad. Season 2 was worse. It kind of was on an upward trajectory, but then, fell flat in its ass towards the end. All right, we're going to get to we're going to get to the chat here, by the way. I got to find a way. Hang on, because I need two open. So, un momento. As I get that going. And don't forget to hit that like button. Rogue One was a lucky miss. Yeah, I mean, Rogue One wasn't that bad. I mean, I haven't watched it again. That's the thing. I've never felt the desire to go watch it for any reason whatsoever. But let me get over here. I had all these up and then they were gone. Now they're back. Here we go. So I can read chat and super chat at the same time. There we go. What's up, Christy? Thank you. So we have at the beginning here, EC Morgan, 69 for $10. Greetings from New York, the other left coast. Love your stuff, big man. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the $10. I'll be at New York. Booked my flights today. And I will be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm leaving early Sunday morning to get back to do the Inquisition. So I believe I arrive Wednesday the 2nd. Did I say Wednesday? Yeah. So Wednesday the 2nd, there's going to be a meetup. Jeremy's going to be there. We're kind of organizing everything. Real quick, I want to plug. I'm doing a live stream tomorrow at I believe it's 1 or 2. So I'm going to do a nooner early on this channel tomorrow morning, and then I'm jumping on a live stream with Geeks and Gamers later in the afternoon. So, and Anna's going to be on that, and Jesse, and of course Anna's there. Like I said, Jesse and Jeremy. And we're going to be discussing some things. So we all want to show our support for Anna. Thank you very much for watching my latest video. It did something none of my videos have done, and that I remember. It did better in its second, third, second and third hour than it did in its first, which was weird. So maybe you guys are listening. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Maticus Finch, 1820 for $5. Hail, Gary. Hell of a job on the new Chappelle video. I spread it far and wide. Thank you. And man, it showed. Thank you guys so much, because we need that right now. And I'm not kidding about that. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Since the Crowder incident, YouTube changed something, and while our videos do, listen, I'm not complaining. The videos still do great, but actually Jeremy from the Quartering did a great video today kind of exposing what's going on, and we're not getting notifications sent out, and we rely on you more than ever, and you guys are having to do way too much work. Honestly, you shouldn't have to do that much work. If you've taken the time to subscribe, you should be able to have the choice to want to watch or not watch one of our videos. Riff Magus for Australian $10. I think we can safely say STD is the failed experiment. Horrid story, writing and character development. As you say, they stole everything from everything else. They did, Riff. They did. And they continue to do that. And, let's get to, before I want to read this, while, people are actually still rolling in. So let's see if I can get this. All right. I got it. And we're going to see what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said. So this is a follow-up to the Walter Mosley. And this all is part of the I think things are starting to come to a head, because we're starting to see some of these people who were quiet start to speak up. And Star Trek Discovery made a huge, huge mistake, because they come out saying, they prioritize diversity before good storytelling, and they get rid of this dude. They get rid of Walter Mosley. And the way they did it, and Robert Meyer Burnett said it more eloquent than I did. This guy didn't get a phone call. He left. Alex Kurtzman and Michelle Paradise didn't know until they heard from HR. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar decides who's allowed to say the N-word. I don't know if he decides this, but who decides? The Hollywood Reporter columnist and TV writer defends Walter Mosley's decision to quit Star Trek Discovery writers' room after CBS admonished him for uttering the racial slur in the context of storytelling. And again, this is a man passing on wisdom, a man who's seen a lot, a man that should be listened to. Generally, if somebody has managed to be successful and live a long life, man or woman, it's good to listen to them once in a while. There's a lot of wisdom out there that's being wasted. Walter Mosley's recent New York Times article, Why I Quit the Writer's Room, detailing his contentious interaction with the HR department of a major entertainment studio that led to his quitting, should be required reading for every American, because it addresses what constitutes free speech in the workplace, in schools, and in the arts. And I'm going to also say right here on platforms, things need to change here too. To summarize, Mosley was telling a personal anecdote in the writer's room of CBS's Star Trek Discovery. I told a story about a cop who explained to me on the streets of Los Angeles that if he stopped all the you-know-whats and Patty neighbors and all Patties in the you-know-whats neighborhood, because they were usually up to no good. An unidentified, by the way, that is not unlike, now the N-word was not used, but I have heard that from police. This was back in the 80s. Okay. And they were also, they were referring to more like poor people. Now this police officer I was talking, that was arresting me in the 80s, wasn't talking to me. He was talking at me after he read my Miranda rights, told me that I just looked like I was up to no good. And honestly, I was a little punk rock kid, and I quite frankly was up to no damn good. And he caught me. I ended up that night, I ended up getting let go though, because they just busted me. The first time I was arrested, it was for curfew, because there's a curfew, or there used to be a curfew in Encinitas, California. So if you were under 18 and you were out past 10 p.m., your ass got arrested. They arrested us, threw us in a big old paddy wagon, and threw us in a big old cell. And then we partied like it was 1999 in a jail cell until our parents come picked us. And this wasn't a wise idea. And by the way, it was the last time it ever happened because all the parents showed up and just screamed at the cops because they got woken up. They're all, we know our kids suck. Why couldn't you just leave them in here? I digress. So, an unidentified writer in the room complained to Human Resources, that was what's widely known as a snitch, about his use of the you-know-what, and HR admonished Mosley not to say the word again, or admonished Mosley not to say the word again. He could write it in a script, they explained, but not say it aloud. Mosley's response was to quit the show. He also said that he is the you-know-what in the room. There's all kinds of crazy in that previous paragraph. The writer who was offended should have expressed their discomfort directly to Mosley so they could have a mature discussion. Well, we know that's not going to happen because, well, this is daycare culture. And, it's also, this was used for power. This was straight up used, in my opinion, to get him out of the room because he probably wrote circles around the people that are in that room. I don't know everybody who's in that room, but I know some of them, their vast experience was on one show on the CW. So if you ever wonder why we get Star Trek Discovery, that's why. The offended writer should have asked themselves a few questions about whether or not taking offense was a legitimate response to a black man telling a story that happened to him and quoting the dialogue used. Clearly, the story has much more visceral impact, which was Mosley's point. When you hear the actual words spoken so cavalierly by a police officer, and why was there no offense taken to the use of the derogatory patty? Finally, one has to question the ability of the writer to produce complex and layered. This is it. Okay, I got to reread that again. One has to question the ability of the writer to produce complex and layered characters and themes if they lack the sophistication to understand all that. Boom. Drop that mic. HR's response is predictable because the language police, like so many other rules in the workplace and schools, is based on this one-size-fits-all condom of policies. Zero tolerance. I hate zero tolerance. I hate it in schools. I hate it everywhere. Zero tolerance sounds like a strict ethical stance, but in reality, it's lazy. It's a lazy position created so institutions can appear culturally sensitive while really just trying to legally cover their asses. However, zero tolerance is anything related to free speech, is antithetical to democracy and is destructive to promoting open discussions about important issues. What makes the American judicial system the foundation of our democracy is the realization that actions cannot be judged outside of context. Okay. We do not judge just the action. We weigh the circumstances, the intent, and any other factors that illuminate the cause of action. And, all of this is spawned from like 2015, right? 2015 is when all the craziness was happening on the campuses, all the anti-free speech movie, idiots burning signs that were pro-free speech and being happy about it. Oh my God. It's just, listen, I don't want to sound like that old man, but I don't care, but I'm going to sound like that old man. I truly believe that we are the first generation, listen, my generation has been one of the greatest disappointments of my life, Generation X, because they helped raise this next generation, which is just head shaking at best. And I've seen a lot of my generation who used to be all punk rockers and free thinkers turn into a bunch of collectivists and weirdos. And it's been damn disappointing. But, it's because we let it go for so long. Finally, we're getting people speaking out. Finally, we got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of all people. What's up, Tom from Midnight's Edge, speaking out. We got Walter Mosley finally speaking out. We got Dave Chappelle speaking out. Ricky Gervais, and I know there's others. We need more. We need a lot more. And I've been speaking out. A lot of other YouTubers. I'm feeling a lot less crazy today. Or, sometimes I wake up, feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I do. The most important context in this situation, the most important context in this situation was that a major literary talent who has written dozens of critically acclaimed best-selling novels was in a writer's room telling a story to other writers that reflected social conflict, actual social conflict. I'm going to mess with this a little bit. Actual cultural insensitivity, actual injustice, and an unreliable narrator, the cop. So again, there's multiple layered lessons you could have learned here. You could have learned about the unreliable narrator, but I mean, these writers, all they do, they just copy everybody else. They're frauds. They're frauds. Unaware of how his prejudice contributed to the problem. What would have been more important, what would have been a moment of insight, instead reflects the very point that Mosley's story expressed, except in this case, HR is the unreliable narrator contributing to the problem. The proper context for HR is to curtail speech is when the speech is used in a way that promotes hate toward or the devaluation of a person or group based on religion, gender identity, ethnicity, or national origin. Mosley's comment did the opposite. It revealed the harsh reality of how that hatred works. CBS TV Studios released a statement in response to Mosley's article. We are committed to supporting a workplace where employees feel free to express concerns and where they feel, of course, that was the first thing right there. You notice, we want a workplace where employees can snitch and where they feel comfortable snitching and then doing their best work. Employees should feel free to express concerns, but the expression of those concerns does not automatically make them policy. Feeling uncomfortable is not the same as being threatened by the language. When HR neglects to take on the responsibility of making that distinction, they aren't encouraging the writer's best work, especially since artists are supposed to use the audience's discomfort to create effective art. Wow. Damn. Kareem. Look at Clarence. Victor. Roger. Let's get to some chat. I mean, you guys can read the rest. It's in the Hollywood Reporter. This little tit for tat battle is going on. Comicbook.com will come out with some article to try to distract like they do when we make videos. I got to make a follow-up video to that. I really do. Just because. Nicholas Horton for £5. News. Disney is apparently going to purchase the UK's Pinewood Studios, home base of James Bond, etc. Yeah, I did hear that. I guess they can afford it. I guess they got some more money. They shook out Bob Iger's couch and bought Pinewood Studios. Maybe it's for Rianne's trilogy. I don't know. Alexander Hagen for $19.99. I'm quite frustrated. They want to make this whole cinematic universe. They've abused the lore so much. Just leave Star Trek alone. They're not going to... it's going to stop there. It's going to stop... I know Alex Kurtzman has a lot of plans, has a lot of intentions, has a lot of things going on. I chit-chatted with some people this morning, and everything, and I've said this from the beginning, everything, and this is obvious, everything relies on Picard. Picard needs to be, it needs to be just a moderate success. If it's just a moderate success, like I said, they're getting a season 2 anyway. And I don't think that's news to anybody. I kind of figured they would when they mentioned 3 seasons. I don't know about 3, but we're in the middle of the streaming wars. You cancel a show in the streaming wars, it either has to be just doing so awful and be a money pit, Star Trek Discovery, but you still can't do it because perception is everything. Perception is the reality in streaming wars right now because CBS All Access needs to look good so they can either sell it or, try to get more subscribers. Now they've got football to carry them through the fall. So that's probably why they chose to delay Picard. They're probably safe. And again, that's just my speculation. I have no idea for sure. But yeah. But the cinematic universe, the movies, they are not making a Star Trek Discovery movie. Now, if they get the cast or Next Generation back together to do a movie, I can see them selling that to producers. Sure. No problem. Yeah, I can see that. Gary, hope to get another season 2. Another season 2? Who? Eric K, my season? I don't know. What are you talking about? Gary, hope to get another season 2. I hope so too. Evan S for $1.99. Can Q snap the finger and get rid of all the wokeness? Yes. He's working on it. He's too busy holding up my my keychain right now. I have another Q in the back, if you can see. I shouldn't have done that. Maticus Finch, 1820. I just started watching The Orville last night. What a great show. Thanks for the recommendation. You are welcome. Thank you for the $5. Everybody watch The Orville. Everybody follow Tom Constantino on Twitter. He is a great guy. He's a producer for The Orville. He will actually interact with you. He's really nice. And that's a very good relationship. A good example. Everybody wants to talk about positivity. A great example of good television that with great fan interaction are The Orville and The Expanse. Get into those shows. You don't have to deal with any of the nonsense from Star Trek, and they're not firing writers or having writers quit because they're in a surveillance workplace. That's got to be uncomfortable. How uncomfortable is it to work in a place where people are going to rat you out all the time? Jesus Christ. And that's the most important thing. And by the way, I'm afraid that we might have had something to do with that because part of my conversation this morning was the surveillance state is they don't want any leaks going out. They're really trying to lock it down. So, a-holes like me don't hear anything and run any videos. So that's part of the reason. Oh well, life goes on. Dash Fat Bastard for $2. Where's Sonequa Martin Green's support for Robert Mosley? Yes. Where is Sonequa Martin Green's support for Walter Mosley? That's a good question. That's a very good question. What about Little Ricky? Where's Little Ricky's support? Where's it doesn't have to be, where's Doug Jones' support? The White Wolf for £5. Hey, Gary, love Picard, but never liked the fact that they made the character French. Hurts more that a Yorkshire man like I am was cast as a Frenchman. Yeah, that didn't really work out. And we love, we love the UK. Okay. I just flat out love the UK. I can't wait to go back. I love everything about your country. Not loving so much of your woke stuff from London, but like all the old stuff. Love it. Love all your writers, everything. By the way, it's going to be really rough, but really good for the channel in spring of 2020 when Doctor Who and Picard are airing at the same time. Jeff McKelvey for $5. And why Jerry Ryan and no Gates McFadden or Sirtis? Well, Sirtis is going to be in it for a second. Or hell, any of the Next Generation cast. Did 7 of even know Picard in either series? Weak. They did not meet, but they could have met in comics or whatever. By the way, I got to look at the camera. So Jeff McKelvey is the 3D Trekker, who just got an Instagram, by the way. So, but if you look right there is the Orville. I don't know what direction I'm going. The Orville. He made that for me. It's hanging on my ceiling now. thank you, Jeff. Good job on the Instagram. By the way, hang on. There's an Instagram giveaway. Oh, who's calling me? I can't pick up the phone now. So, real quick, I'm going to be giving these away in New York. Toxic mailbag will be tomorrow, by the way. I know somebody's going to ask, but it's tomorrow. I have a bunch of letters to read, but this I want to show you outside of the package because Mrs. Nerdrotic made these, and these are cool as hell. So these will be part of the giveaway. We've got, I've got, oh wait, my camera's all, you got it. There we go. Mrs. Nerdrotic, we're going to be giving away shirts and these buttons, which are really cool. So we got those, and we have 100K commemorative, because I can talk. So if you can see that right there, if it gets in focus, if it gets in focus, there we go. Cool. So yeah. Warrior Monk for $1.99. Never understood why Q wasn't a villain in Generations. I never did either. It would have actually been perfect, but they screwed up Generations. What can I say? I hate that movie. Modalicious for $2. Chappelle, like they never heard of Clayton Bixby. Like they've never, well, Modalicious, you're too smart for everybody. Damagini for $2. Love the show. Did a vid on WM. Gave you a shout out on WM. What's WM? Why should probably know WM Wonder Man? No. Tell me what but tell me in the chat. You don't have to get another super chat. Thank you for the shout out. Thank you for the shout out. I will be giving a couple shout outs today to a couple people who deserve them, by the way. All right. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that was great. I guess David Allen Greer did a pretty funny tweet, but I want to get to Shatner because Mecca covered this a little bit. It looks like there's some trolling of Shatner. So here's the deal on the trolling. And listen, when people mix it up with trolls, we all know the answer to this. You know, I get horrible comments every day. I get stuff tweeted at me that's, people have said stuff about my kids who they've never seen, so I don't care. And I don't give it the time of day. I just move on, and it's fine. But how anybody deals with it is their choice. I don't tell YouTubers what to do. So sometimes it's good to mix it up. You know, you mix it up with somebody for a little while, just because, you know, you're there, you're kind of bored. You see somebody say something stupid, you mix it up. Shatner, and I don't know if it's Shatner or I've heard it might be Shatner's daughter or some relation or maybe an assistant working his Twitter. I don't know if it's Shatner for sure, but somebody's trying to mess with Shatner. Leave Shatner alone, for one. Okay? God amongst men. But they're trying to accuse him of homophobia. And this is probably because Shatner has maybe thrown some shade at disco. Certainly deserved. Shatner's old school. And these people call themselves Star Trek fans, which is, you know, just more proof that they're Star Trek Discovery fans. Star Trek icon William Shatner accused of homophobia. He fires back. Good for him. Star Trek legend William Shatner. This is, by the way, from Jorge. Star Trek legend William Shatner came under attack on Twitter from a number of people, quote unquote, who claim the actor blocks people due to their sexuality, which is nonsense. A number of these individuals claimed or insulted Shatner. A number of these individuals claimed or insulted Shatner is anti-gay or is he a homophobe? And then you see the tweet here, which I won't even repeat. Shatner would reveal that those attacking him appear to be friends of the BTS troll I blocked. BTS is a South Korean boy band. Shatner continued, so I guess the Annie Darling made it about her sexuality instead of her harassment. Always be a victim. It will get you nowhere. Good for you, Shatner. Good for you. And yeah. And you know what? Shatner blocks everybody. He blocked Doomcock for a little while. Now he unblocked Doomcock. That's fine. But our good friend Data Racer has come in. We love Data Racer. Star Trek SJWs are attacking William Shatner again, trying to stir up the fake outrage mob. They're trolling him with bizarre photoshops, then play the victim card and call Shatner a bigot after he blocks them. Captain Kirk is having none of it. None of it. Is this what you are trying to make of this? Such immature types. So you can scream Shatner blocks gays to incite fake hate? Shatner blocks everybody. Gay, straight, whatever, he'll block you. Leave Shatner alone. It's just typical Twitter. That's why I only spend my allotted half an hour a day on Twitter. Oh, did I? Oh, man. I got my chat not moving in there. That's great. There we go. That never helps. Now it's moving again. Sorry about that. I got to remember not to touch that one. Christine Roach Lugo for $2. Where can I buy the pin? Oh, you don't have to buy it. We'll give them away. I'm giving them away at New York, and if I have any left, Christine, just email me, Gary@nerdrotic.com. I don't, but maybe we'll do a store. I don't know how much they cost. I got to talk to Mrs. Nerdrotic, set this up. She has been a godsend to this channel. She's put together a lot of things behind the scenes. She's helping out with the Instagram. By the way, you need to follow the Instagram. She's got it going over there. And we got big plans coming up. I'm finally getting caught up. Finally. So I have to make a couple videos that are going to have sponsors on them. Woo, yep, that's right. I'm a sellout. Don't worry. They're not, I mean, they're going to be the same video. I would not let anybody sponsor this channel that's going to restrict what I have to say, ever. Clayton Bixby was the blind black racist skit. Modalicious says for $2. Yes, but I didn't want to eloquent, for some, there's certain things. Listen, I wish I could talk completely freely on the YouTube's Modalicious, but I can't. Unfortunately. Silhouetted Animated for $10. Have you seen the documentary about the hellish production behind Richard Stanley's The Island of Dr. Monroe? No, I haven't. Fantastic documentary and shows how 90s Hollywood screwed over a very creative vision. The one that they made with the one with Marlon Brando. I heard about what went on behind the scenes, but I heard Marlon Brando was kind of a problem too about that. I'll check it out if I have time. That sounds cool. I remember the movie flopping hard. Sir Ruin of House Roundhead for $4.99. Are you a fan of Jake Gyllenhaal or Tom Hiddleston? I'm going to see them on Broadway this weekend, and I'm going to try to meet them after their shows. I'm a fan of their work. I'm not, Sir Ruin, I'm not a big star guy. I like Hiddleston. If I saw somebody who played the Doctor, that would get me excited. But that'd be cool to meet him. I think Jake would be a much better Spider-Man than Tom Holland, in my opinion. Michael Deich for $5. Everyone in a big corporation fears HR. HR is like the old Soviet political officers peering over the shoulder of both managers and workers. Petty bums. Yes, absolutely. And that was something that even Tesla, which is one of the better companies I've ever worked for, had a problem with. I don't like, that's why I don't work for corporations. I won't work for corporations. If I have to go sell hot dogs on the street, I'll sell hot dogs on the street. I will not work for a corporation. Nope. No more. I just wouldn't fit in. I would be Walter Mosley, but not dropping N-bombs. Armchair Warlord, $2. Shilling my book, The Maiden's War, now on Amazon. Check it out. It's called The Maiden's War, and it's on Amazon. Thank you, Armchair Warlord. The Shiido for $10. Wasn't there a Netflix exec that was fired for using the N-word? Yes. In a meeting about using the N-word? Yes. Same situation. Someone ran to HR instead of saying anything at the time. Cowards. And there's a bunch of cowards. And honestly, that's largely, the SJW crowd is like the HR of Twitter. They're the cowards of Twitter. And that's what that was the point I tried to get across in my last video. Towards the end of the Chappelle video is, people really don't have a problem with how people identify and who they sleep. I mean, like, really, I don't care. That's why, the one thing I don't like, why it's being put into so many films right now, because it's just a trend. Who, what, sleeps with, or any, because, well, in context of the story, how does that matter? Are you just saying, we're going to see a gay superhero that will do what? Say I'm gay once and then go be a superhero? What's the point of that? To make one person feel okay? It doesn't really help because it's superficial. So we might want to think about how we act as individuals. And if we're running around, I don't know, snitching on people, being cowards, not being passive aggressive. That's another thing, really Hollywood has cultivated this over years and years. If you want to make it in Hollywood, you got to have some talent, but you also have to know how to play the game. That game is be passive aggressive. Don't ever tell anybody anything to their face. Backstab as many people as possible, but kindly. And listen, they'll come back for more. People will get backstabbed and come back for more in Hollywood because they're so desperate for work and entertainment. The place isn't that great. It's really not that great. Unless you're at the tippity top, if you're in post-production in Hollywood, you work alone, it's working in a cubicle, or, great, you get to edit. If you get to edit, half the shit's done for you. There's no creativity. I don't know. And this is the thing, if it becomes too much of a toxic environment, I hate to use that word, but a bunch of cowards, and if it's paranoid, you're not going to get talented people. I don't think talented people want to work at Star Trek Discovery. Maybe Walter Mosley, maybe somebody tried to tell him and he just didn't listen, and he got there and that's what Doomcock and I talked about on the Inquisition. He probably got there and knew the very minute he walked in the building, went, oh, and tried to find an out, and maybe just one day said, I'm going to tell a story and drop an N-word so I can get the hell out of here. just leave. Destiny Captain for $4.99. Gary, you or I have nothing to do with this. It's directly a result of the actions of Les Moonves. Think about it. All of this does. As far as Star Trek, it goes past Les Moonves though. But yes, he started this, and it's still his personality. Still, his stink is still on Star Trek. Yeah, you're right. You're right. JPRPH1 for $4.99. Great content lately, as always. Why, thank you. I resubbed to RMB yesterday. He had a great follow-up today where he reinforces the points of his rant. And yeah, I liked his rant. You know what? I was kind of, hoping he would stick with it, but he kept dialing it back. Listen, this is just my philosophy on YouTube. Rant away. If you're feeling passionate about something, rant away. People genuinely like that. And yeah, say your feelings. Don't worry. You know what? If something becomes a Star Trek Discovery bashing session, so be it. So be it. I don't worry about that anymore. I used to worry about it. I don't worry about it. Listen, objectivity on Star Trek Discovery, I don't think it can be had, but it's not going to be had here. I will try to be fair. But there's some baggage. For one, we don't have anything to show that it'll ever be a good show. So I don't know why I need to be optimistic about something that's never shown any single ray of hope ever. Let's be realistic here. And there's good things to talk about. They're just not on the air right now. But yes, he had a good, he had a good rant there. I'm not one to spread rumors, but Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers said you like a bearded woman from a carnival show. Uh, he wasn't supposed to say anything, so that's Jeremy just blabbing. That's Jeremy being Jeremy. He said I look like a bearded woman from a carnival show. Well, I mean, I do, a very handsome one. A very handsome beard, because women can be handsome. A handsome woman. That's a very nice way of saying they're not quite beautiful, but they're not ugly. So yeah, by the way, again, I'll be on a live stream with Anna and Jesse and Jeremy tomorrow on Geeks and Gamers. Maddie Jerome for $1.99. Gary, you owe me a button from Comic-Con. Okay. You know what? Were you at the meetup at Lestat's, Maddie? Then I probably do. Then you can have one. You can have one. Taku Forts for $4.99. Hail, Gary. It says Greg, but I'm sure you mean Gary. Do you like? But I have a friend named Greg. Do you like UK classic comedies such as Bottom, The Young Ones, Only Fools, and Horses, and sci-fi comedy Red Dwarf? I have not watched a lot of Red Dwarf. I have watched The Young Ones a gazillion times. Bottom, yes. And no, Only Fools and Horses, no. But I will. But Young Ones, yes. I own The Young Ones. And there was 8 episodes. They aired on MTV in the 80s, and they showed them over and over again. And I remember doing lots of drugs and watching The Young Ones and loving it. It's pronounced, okay, Demogene. Thank you. Walter Mosley. Oh, you did a video. Okay, Demogene. Thank you. And Walter Mosley. Thank you. You didn't have to give another super chat, though. Thanks for the correct pronunciation. Dan Kogan. Gary, you're easily the best of your YouTube peers. Oh, I don't know about that. Thank you for the kind words, but we're all we're all the best in our own way. We are. We all have a different take, and it generally doesn't ever suck. All right, so let's get to the chat here, and then we'll get to Leaky Star Wars. Captain Robert April asked if there any chance I could score a button. You know what? I'll have to work something out. We have a bunch, so when I get back from New York, I will set up a way to get buttons. Yes. Thomas Williams says smeg. We don't want to say smeg. Not smegma. Ugh. Good morning from Thailand, says online English. That reminds me. I need to read you guys a letter. A great letter. Oh, wow. Oh, good. Okay, so I'm in. Okay, good. So now I will officially be sponsored. I just got to make the video. I'm looking for a oh, now I can't find it. So I'll look for it later. Somebody sent me the best letter from Japan, and they said they were watching in Japan, and they liked what I did, and they liked that I tried to remain fair, and they liked my last couple Chappelle videos, and that people are watching across the world, and it just blew me away. It was just nothing but positive, and that's the only interaction I've had. I don't really get, people come in and, like with Anna, they'll come in and say horrible things about my kids or something like that. I don't care. But there's nothing really long and eloquent, But I get these really long and eloquent emails and letters that are just like, they fire me up. They motivate the shit out of me to keep going. And it's great. So I really love it. Gary@nerdrotic.com. I eventually do read all the email. Currently there's 4,628 in my mailbox. I'm a little behind. But yeah, I'll get there. I'm trying to get to oh, Jesus Christ. I'm still getting used to this new computer, by the way. Oh, Doctor Who. Let's get to that. Doctor Who winning getting nominated for as Boltrek says a participation award. And I've never heard of it. And here we go. From the Radio Times, everybody. What does that say, Uncle Remus? What do you think about the Tank Girl? I will get to that. I will get to that because I'm actually a giant fan of Tank Girl, of the comic book. And I actually do like the movie too. Okay. Doctor Who and Jodie Whittaker nominated for Welsh BAFTAs. Did you know there was a Welsh BAFTA? Is that like, so if you equated that to the Academy Awards, would that be like the Arkansas Academy Awards? I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know. The Welsh are beautiful people, and we love them. The latest season of the sci-fi series, which, I mean, it seems like forever ago, picked up 4 nominations, including Best Actress for Jodie Whittaker. So was this the only thing to air in the world? The latest series of Doctor Who, which aired a long time ago, which starred Broadchurch's Jodie Whittaker as a time-traveling, two-hearted version of herself, imitating David Tennant and Matt Smith, has picked up 4 nominations for the Welsh BAFTAs, the Cymru Awards. The BBC Sci-Fi, I'm air quoting, series has been nominated in categories of Best Actress. Maybe making facial expressions like somebody put a battery jumping cable up your pooper. Maybe if you get an award for that, maybe. It's the first nomination for Whittaker, hopefully the last. Production design by Arwell Wynne Jones, who receives his 7th nomination for special visual effects. Oh, because they were solid this year. They took a giant step back. And listen, Doctor Who special effects have never been good. I understand that. But they've always been not good in a really charming way. There was nothing charming about this show. Yeah. I can't believe this. But then I can. Whittaker would be up against BAFTA winner Sian Gibson or Peter Kay's car share. First-time nominee Gabrielle Creevy for In My Skin, and Erie Thomas for Enid and Lucy. I never heard of any of that. So, meanwhile, the 4 nominees in the television drama category this year are Doctor Who, Enid and Lucy, In My Skin, and On the Edge. Through the Gates. All strongly feature female lead storylines. So every time we say female, we need to put the word strong next to it. They all strongly feature female-led storylines because strong female. So featuring the strong female Jodie Whittaker. Whittaker, because she has boobs and a vag, received this award and got the Doctor Who part because she had boobs and a vag, and she knew Chris Chibnall. Has single-handedly destroyed the beloved franchise. Oh, that's not in the article. That's my opinion. Whittaker and her Doctor Who team are currently ruining more Doctor Who for new series, and it's set to be quite a long wait, thankfully, until we see more episodes of that shite on the BBC. Although we do know that the rhino-like alien thugs, the Jadoon, will be probably a stand-in for Big Daddy Bears, and they'll be shipping with a Jadoon will fall in love with Ryan or whatever. Created by former showrunner Russell T Davies. You just needed to throw that in there. I think the Radio Times and everybody has figured out the only interest in Doctor Who right now is of old episodes. And the only interest is either are Chibnall and Whitaker leaving, or is David Tennant coming back, or is Jack Harkness coming back, is Torchwood coming back, is Rose coming back. That's the only interest. Big Finish is more actually there's more Big Finish action figures than there are for Doctor Who. And by the way, while I bring that up, somebody did send me an email about that. And it looks like the Jodie Whittaker figures. And again, there's more Big Finish Doctor Who action figures than there are Series 11 Doctor Who action figures. That tells you everything you need to know. But here we go. There's my media alert. I got some pictures this morning. There it is. Now I got to make sure I don't share the actual email. Make sure there's no information on that. Yeah, so we're getting, by the way, these things look terrible. So they're getting discounted now too. What the hell is, oh, Jesus. It just says the same thing. But yeah, I don't know. I guess 12 pounds. That's still 12 pounds. They should be like a pound. That is way too much damn money. Way too much damn money for that. So yeah, Doctor Who's coming back, and they have to relate it to Russell T Davies all the time. I think with what's going on, I don't love what's going on with Star Wars. I'm not happy. Star Wars has ran into a wall. It sucks. The fandom is split. People are defending it just because they don't like us. I mean, that's a good portion of the people defending Star Wars is some of them just don't like us, which is fine. You can also not like Star Wars. There's some people who like it. That's fine. I don't care. Just don't bother, don't come at me because I don't like it. But we're seeing the results now of years of not neglect, of mismanagement at Star Trek or Star Wars. And in about a year or so, we're going to see the repercussions with Doctor Who and Star Trek. Star Trek has been protected by the streaming wars, by, we'll say, the tent of, basically they had a bunch of money set aside to get their startup streaming service going. Of course, they're not going to cancel any shows involved there. And it's protected under that for now. Doctor Who is protected by its agenda. There's no way in hell they are going to get rid of the female doctor publicly. And again, the rumors were Chris Chibnall left and she walked out with him. She didn't get fired. So there's no way the BBC is going to fire Whittaker because it would be a black eye. So we're stuck with her as long as she wants to be there. And I think the BBC would rather have the series go down than admit that they failed. Are there ways they could have succeeded with the female doctor? Absolutely. But they decided to take the wrong approach. They wanted to lean heavily into politics because we need to do that. I mean, it wasn't just a female doctor. It was a female doctor with feminism and cultish partisan politics. So all three of those were, I mean, you never had a chance. You never had a chance of making good television or, more importantly, getting new fans. I don't know, again, I think a lot of this is bad research or no research. One of the two. It's they hire people who tell them what they want to hear, or they do no research and they just want to make something for the fans that they want. And again, I'll say you can't choose your fandom. Your fandom chooses you. And Doctor Who is in a bad spot right now. It's in a horribly bad spot, and it's evident everywhere. There is no merchandise anywhere. And what there is, you just saw, is garbage, and it's It's discounted. That looked terrible. And Doctor Who has had great merchandise, like brilliant merchandise. Look behind me. I mean, it's these these masks, the anniversary Dalek right there on top, and you can see there's the TARDIS. Everything about the merchandise was solid and great. They have, listen, Star Trek is so stupid, and they've been stupid for a long time. And prior to me having my channel, I remember, God, thank God I have a channel now. The poor people who were in my comic store, they're going to hear this. This is an argument from a few years ago. I was livid that Star Trek's 50th anniversary went by with a whimper, like nothing. You compare Star Trek's 50th anniversary to Doctor Who's 50th anniversary. Whether you're critical of Doctor Who or not, man, they hit a home run on their 50th anniversary. They had a special. It had freaking Tom Baker in it. You brought David Tennant back. The whole world was aware of it. Oh my God, it was filming in the center of London. Everybody was talking about it. They were getting tons of free advertising. Comic-Con was just owned by Doctor Who. You couldn't walk 5 feet without seeing a kid with a bow tie or a trench coat and some glasses, or a girl in a TARDIS dress, or a Dalek dress. It was goddamn everywhere. It was a sensation. It was beautifully done, and then they completely fucked up after that. But the 50th anniversary was great. They got the 5 Doctors, the special, which was brilliant, and then they did a brilliant special at Big Finish, which if you are a Patreon, if you're a patron, you can listen to on a secret spot on my website. And everything was great. They got an entire new generation of fans out of it. Now, they've lost them, and it's a tragedy because out of all of those franchises, and Star Wars had made some headway, and they blew it. Star Trek has never made headway. And they're not going to make headway, and I'll get to that in a second. But Doctor Who, man, they did it, and they blew it. They blew it, and Star Trek really blew it. They had their chance, and unfortunately, there was rights issues going on with the goddamn 50th anniversary, and they couldn't get anything together. Why couldn't we have gotten a Star Trek special on their 50th anniversary? Who in the hell's, why not? They don't do audio adventures. They don't do anything. At least for Doctor Who fans, there is a place to go. It's not listen, it's getting woke too. Let's not lie. It's getting woke too, but at least there's an alternative. For Star Trek, they try, when fans try to make stuff, they shut it down. What a bunch of jackasses. We're going to get to the chat in just a moment, okay? Dragon Volder X for $2. Hope to see you at New York Comic Con. Gotta run. Okay, hope to see you there. Thank you. Hail Gary, my apologies. Too much Earl Grey. Never apologize, Taku Forts. It's okay. It's all good. Never apologize. We're good. Princess Unicorn. I know who this is. What's up, Princess Unicorn for $4.99? You're right to be mad at Spanos, but I still support the Chargers because of the players. They had a great game on Sunday, so screw Spanos, but go Chargers. My son feels the same way. He's still a fan. He was happy. I'm sorry. My heart is broken. It's broken to pieces. Are you guys planning a bar meetup at New York Comic Con? Says Deus Pigeon. Pigeon for $1.99. Yes, it will be at a bar. I imagine those are the best places to meet up. I'm okay in bars. I'm okay, even though I am, clean and sober. Okay, let's get to the chat. It's nice to get to the chat. All right. I'm trying to, there's a lot. I love the crosstalk in the chat, by the way. I'm just trying to get through to a part. I got greetings from Brazil. Okay. Cafe Neutrino. Greetings from Brazil. Gary, please provide Brazilian Portuguese subtitles. Culture War is now global. How do I do that? Is it just a box I have to click? I will do that. I will look into that. Of course. If there's an easy way to just click some boxes to
to get some subtitles going. I should have done that before. I do apologize. And the culture war is worldwide. I've heard kind of what's going on in South America. So keep fighting. And yeah, most definitely. Thank you. And greetings from Brazil. That's brilliant. BBC prefers to preach progressive morals, which is a bit rich considering they covered for pedos for decades. Jimmy Savile. Yeah. Dr. Beast Hunter. Yes. Yeah, that is a show for the Exozone on my other channel. That is the creepiest goddamn thing ever, by the way. That the BBC, that people at the BBC still work there, are still associated, that let that happen, is unbelievable, and it's proof to for me for a lot of things, that I don't want to get into here. But you're right, Dr. Beast Hunter. Don't ever let him forget. Don't ever let him forget. Missed opportunity, right, Daphne? Absolute missed opportunity that you'll never get back. When Star Trek turns 75, if there's somebody competent in charge, they really need to, come out with a special, do something. Unfortunately, the only people alive will be from Star Trek Discovery, so never mind. I never said that. Take it back. So Mills says, Nerdrotic, they had the option, and guess what? Big surprise here. Moonviz said no. Moonviz, you're an asshole. I hate you. I don't hate you. I really don't like you. And I'm glad you're gone, and I'm glad you didn't get your money. And I hope his wife doesn't work. I hope Big Brother gets canceled too. Hey, I have the 11 Doctors anniversary figures. Put it away in a box. I wonder if it's worth anything. Uncle Remus, it might be. I have that as well. I have the Lego one and the action figure one. All the boxes are great. Doctor Who, best action figures ever. Right? Noel, TARDIS Zone, best action figures ever. Here's Noel, by the way. It's game over for Doctor Who under its current form. We need to really hope so. I want that to be true. I really want that to be true. And the TARDIS Zone official YouTube channel was the first place I saw the rumors, and I have yet to see a denial. I have yet to see a formal denial. The Radio Times article is not a denial. It was, you can't counteract unnamed sources with unnamed sources. Doesn't work like that, especially when you can easily put out an Instagram post, a tweet, an official statement on the BBC that just simply says, Chibnall and Jodie still work for us. It would be squashed. So the fact that they didn't do that, I think still leaves it in question, don't you? The Moffat era of Who is the greatest. There are Gooder Jedi. There are many people who agree with you. I liked parts of it. I did. I would love to have it back. My God, it's freaking Shakespeare compared to what we're getting now. I would take Moffat back and Matt Smith back in a second. Yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, by the way. We only got 344 likes. Please hit the like button. It helps immensely. By the way, if you're ever wondering why the live streams sometimes leave the channel, it's for algorithms. I have an alternate channel called Nerdrotic Live. I put all of the live streams there. Also, I have a website, nerdrotic.com, where I back everything up, and you can get audio versions of the podcast. So you can get it on iTunes or Player FM. Listen to it on your phone if you like, and it's all free, and there's no ads on my website yet. Maybe, but right now, no. Thomas Williams says, my dad is Welsh, and your dad is awesome. He deserves an award. Several of my BC vids were removed, especially after the 2009 reboot. All right. Cracklin for $4.99. Please let the chat know I was joking about Jeremy and the bearded woman. Oh, he's Cracklin's full of humor. He is. I may have inadvertently gotten some shade thrown his way. $5 for peace. Oh yeah, no. Cracklin, Cracklin was joking. We all good. We all good. Me and Jeremy are good. He might be listening. Pop in, Jeremy, if you're listening. If you're not, I'm gonna text him. No, I'll call him a derogatory name right now on his. I'll say his hat smells or something. No, we love Jeremy. Pennyworth had a scene where a prisoner named James Seville was given a grisly medieval execution. Really? Silhouetted animated for $5. Well, that's not very subtle. Good. Thank you, Silhouetted Animator. Adel Mork Ofdel for, okay, I'm going to try it again. Adel Mork Ofdel for 50 Norwegian crowns. What do you think about the to live and die in L.A.? What do you think of To Live and Die in L.A.? Just saw it again after 25 years. I think it is great, and what a soundtrack. Today, nothing compares. To Live and Die in L.A. with the Wang Chung soundtrack is an excellent movie. And you want to talk about subverting expectations in the right way? Absolute wonderful movie. And it's got an ending that you do not see. Something happens, you're like, whoa! One of the shocking. One more time for 100 Norwegian crowns. Again, common sense. I watched Bad Times at the El Royale. What a S show. Had to go through a Clockwork Orange to put my mind right. Was it in all the new? What is with all the new garbage? I don't know. Talent has gone down in Hollywood. The talent pool is too watered down. There's too many movies. The better talent's going to television now. That's what I'm thinking. Dina Jamraz for $2. Wow, I hit a live chat. Good to see y'all. Good to see you, Dina. Yeah, these are going back very, very soon. I'm shooting for October. I was shooting for this month, but October, these are going back to being at a very set time every day. So it's going to be earlier, though. Because like the afternoon live streams, I mean, it's like almost 5 now, and it feels like I just started my day. So we're going to put these back to like 10:30, 11:30 in the morning, but they're going to be Monday through Thursday. So that's the good thing. That's probably early October. When I get back from New York, those are going to start. Until then, I'm going to work my way towards that. I'm chipping away at things right now. Because otherwise I'll get overwhelmed. So I just like deal with like a little that, like how you clean your house if it's too messy. You just pick a section and you clean your section and you get to it. I also do, prior to these shows, I will be doing a Patreon show. It's called Foreplay. So the Foreplay will happen before the Nooner on Patreon. Oh, and also, I want you guys to tune in to Friday Night Tights. We moved it up 2 hours, and we are going to have a lot of guests, including patrons, other YouTubers. This week, we have, hang on, I'll go to my website because now I'm brain farting on who is going to be here this Friday. So we're going to have, of course, Comics Division, Odin's Movie Blog, Stephen Walton, the author of the Fandom Menace book. We're also going to have Quarter Black Garrett from the Steven Crowder Show. And we might have another guest as well. So that's who's going to be in. We're going to get Drunk 3PO back. John F. Trent back for sure. John F. Trent and I are going to review Titans on Friday. Although I don't know how much I mean, that was whoa, that was bad. How many of you saw Titans? Did anybody see Titans? What a giant turd that was. So not only, I won't spoil any details, but about 3/4 of the way through the first episode on a streaming service that you paid for, you see there was better CGI in Buffy 20 years ago, better writing for sure. And they undid the entire first season. The entire first season was building up to this big bad guy, and they just undid it. So they bring in Batman, who's Jorah Mormont from Game of Thrones, and he can't do an American accent. He can't do it. And while if it was Jorah Mormont from 10 years ago, that'd have been cool. It's 64-year-old Batman. And he looks like 64-year-old Batman. So the first time we get Batman on TV, like a legit Batman since the 1966 TV series, he's old. I hope you understand my argument now. We have not seen Batman. We have seen a million. We got a Pennyworth show now, and we got a Gotham show, and we got a Birds of Prey show, and we got Titans, and we haven't seen Batman yet. Honest to God, the closest thing we've seen to a real comic book Batman, and I'm talking just look, is Ben Affleck. Sorry, but the Ben Affleck Batman was the closest to being the most comic book accurate. Now, Christian Bale's Nolan's version was better, but that was motorcycle uniform Batman. It was. I'm not a fan of the costume at all. And I like, you know what? I like comic. I know we're getting into the post superhero. We're postmodern superhero now, and everything's going to be the Joker and nihilism and all that crap. So Men in Tights is done and gone. But I still like costumes. I still like comic book accurate costumes. You can do new things story wise as long as he looks like Batman. But you know what? I hope Robert Pattinson's Batman is that Batman. I hope. I hope I'm wrong about everything about that kid, and I will be happy to apologize to him publicly. And if we just get a good Batman, because right now DC has a very good chance to undercut Marvel a little bit, because Marvel's going to go woke and be stupid, and DC has their chance. Unfortunately, they're going to be run by J.J. Abrams. So I hope Bill and Ted 3 isn't woke. It comes out next year, and it's one of the only movies I'm looking forward to. Are you a fan? Huge fan. I can't. Atticus Finch for $18.20 for $5. Hot Toys is coming out with. Did you guys see it? Oh, I got to show it to you. Hang on. You got to see this. So yes, big fan, and I think if they just copy the template from Cobra Kai, if they call the Cobra Kai people and go, "What did you do?" And if they go the Cobra Kai route, it could be the sleeper hit of the year by far. If they don't go woke, I will be, I can't tell you how happy I'd be. I'll be just beside myself with joy. And I'm starting to see more and more of that here. Where is it now? Hang on. If it's here. Yes, there it is. Let's share the screen, folks. This is killer. So there's your 1/6 scale Bill and Ted. These things, and it's pretty brilliant. That's so damn cool. That looks so good. Excellent. And those are your accessories right there. That's so damn cool. But I really, was it Rufus, right? Rufus? I'm blanking on what George Carlin's name was in that. But that looks totally cool. That I am very happy about. So there's still good left in the world. So hopefully it doesn't go completely woke. I totally agree. Atticus Finch. Maddie Jerome for $4.99. Hey, Gary, Tom introduced us to the Orville experience. Tom introduced us at the Orville experience. I also rescued your toys when they went missing while you were on the phone. I work with Pun. Oh, Maddie, what is up? Thank you. You did rescue my toys. Thank you. By the way, one of those toys was my that Q in the background, and it's good to see you again. Yes, you will get a pen. Will you be at New York? Will you be at New York? That would be cool. So, while I almost lost my toys, that's when I was on the phone with Seth. I was actually on the phone with Seth at that point. So, the Orville, by the way, is a great distinction. Okay, Star Trek Discovery is woke. Now, when I say woke, when I mean woke, it's superficial virtue signaling bullshit politics. The Orville tells the same stories. It does, but it mixes it in with allegory. It doesn't alienate any because it doesn't treat you like you're stupid. And it doesn't treat you like you're evil. If you look at, I don't know, if you look at things subjectively, objectively, if you try to see both sides of an argument, it doesn't make you a bad person. Right now, there is some within Hollywood, within access media, most of the access media, who would like to paint critics in a certain light so they can get rid of us, so they can unperson us. And these labels aren't working anymore. So they're getting frustrated and they're starting to lash out. The Orville is the best example in the world of something that what Star Trek should be. Now, Star Trek doesn't need to go back to its old aesthetic. It doesn't. But it needs to go back to its old ideal, the foundation of Star Trek. You could try new things. Listen, I've said it before, I'm not a canon fundamentalist. You can change things. I won't care as long as it's within the spirit of Star Trek. It's impossible to 100% adhere to canon, but it's kind of like with Doctor Who, the fixed point in time. There are certain things in Star Trek you don't F with. That's why, listen, with the Tolkien estate, the Hobbit films, some people didn't like them. Some people thought they were horrible. They certainly were too long. And what they did to Legolas was pretty bad. But for the most part, they kept some stuff pure. They didn't F with Gandalf. They didn't make Gandalf gay or something like that. I mean, we all kind of assume he was, but, or maybe he was like a spinster. Or maybe he's just not into that thing. And maybe he's just too busy to have sex. Maybe he's asexual. Who cares? I don't care. I don't ever want to know I don't want to know what hobbits are sleeping with and what Gandalf is sleeping with or Saruman or, maybe that's why they didn't do Saruman of many colors. Never mind. Cracklin, $1.99. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'll paraphrase a Gandalf quote. He who has to break something to try to see how it works has left the path of wisdom. Sam Urai for $2. Mosley isn't a sci-fi writer. What the hell is he doing on STD? He's not a sci-fi writer, but at least he was a writer. At this point, and that's a good point, Sam. But the thing is, our expectations are so low for Star Trek Discovery. We just wanted a writer with experience. The reason they're not, Sam, you know the answer to this, and this is why you bring it up. This is why you're intelligent. What's up, Pen Farm Girl? Hi, Pen Farm Girl. They don't want to bring in sci-fi writers because it's going to make their other dumb writers look dumber. So they're not bringing in sci-fi. Michael Chabon's not a sci-fi writer. He wrote something genre-like, but it's more comic books. He's not a sci-fi writer. Akiva Goldsman is clearly not a sci-fi writer. No, none of them are. They have no sci-fi writers in the room. And the reason they keep them out specifically is because they're all a bunch of frauds and they don't want to look bad. But they do. The only thing is they can't do anything about you or me. Not just yet, anyway. It's not like they haven't tried, though, Sam. Lady Mist for $5. Watched both The Expanse and Carnival Row at your suggestion. Enjoyed them both. Any more shows you could add to the list? Thanks. Orville. Taboo. It's only one season, but it's great. And actually, you can watch it. And it's got a beginning, middle, and end. And you can leave the end. If you haven't watched Buffy and Angel, Firefly, Serenity, but anything new. If it didn't end on a cliffhanger, I would recommend the Sarah Connor Chronicles, Terminator. The Sarah Connor Chronicles are great. Counterpart ended. Mr. Robot. If you've ever seen Mr. Robot, it's pretty good. I like Mr. Robot. I'm a fan. We're going to get our final season in October, and I will be covering it here. Actually, back in my TV covering days, we got a lot of traction. So that will be covered on the big channel. But definitely check out the Orville, Lady Mist. Orville. Altered Carbon as well. That one's good too. That's on Netflix. To Live and Die in L.A. God, I haven't seen that in a long time. Adelmork again for 100 Norwegian crowns on the female Thor nonsense in Norwegian and Norse. Lost language except for the Icelandians. By the way, Adel, Mrs. Nerdrotic loves Iceland. Been there a couple times by herself. And went exploring. She's a huge Bjork fan, believe it or not. We got male Thor and female Tora. Thus, God of Love and Thunder should be Thora. Tora. Oh, okay. Well, look at you just blessing us with some knowledge there. Thank you. Thank you for the 100 Norwegian Swedish crowns. What the hell do you think of a reboot of Valley Girl plus Ridgemont High? Not done right now. I don't want anything rebooted right now. You know how I feel about that, Princess Unicorn. I love those are 80s films. I mean, those are just pure 80s films. I don't know if they could be remade right now. Fast Times at Ridgemont High is one of the greatest high school movies ever made, if not the greatest high school movie ever made. Written by Cameron Crowe of San Diego, based on a San Diego high school, based on Claremont High. That's right. Jeff Spicoli is like your typical coastal San Diegan surfer. Hey, Mr. Hond. All right, back to the chat. What's up, Penn Farm Girl, by the way? We love Penn Farm Girl. UK salutations. The BBC is making a second season of Taboo. Bjork rules, says Paul. Yeah, I like Bjork. I've seen her live. She's actually pretty good. Okay, funny story about Bjork. We're watching Bjork at Coachella. And this was when Coachella was still kind of rough. It wasn't like this big star fest everybody went to. So it was still like just, you could still afford to go. And they did the camp. You used to be able to tailgate out in the parking lot. So you'd barbecue all day and then go in. The Bjork fans were not used to the heat. So there was a lot of little boys fainting with like fairy wings. And we'd have to, person after person, we were having the crowd surf them out of the crowd so they can go get to the ambulance because they were fainting from heat stroke. It was Bjork. And they are making a second season of Taboo, but it got delayed, Paul, because of freaking Venom. So we don't know if we're getting it. Okay, we got one more Bounding into Comics article. Let's talk about Rhiann. Star Wars Leaky Star Wars, and Rhiann Johnson. Frickin' Rhiann Johnson. This is from our good friend, future Pulitzer Prize winning John F. Trent. The Last Jedi director provided an update on his Star Wars status. He's, look at me, I'm still doing it, because he wasn't mentioned at all at D23. By the way, the latest leaks from Star Wars, let's discuss them so I don't get pinged for my title. By the way, Matthew Matson gets full credit for that title. We were going to title it Leaky Star Wars Leads to STD. But we didn't. Maybe I'll change that, though. All right, so the latest leak is Rey is going to fight a penis monster in the desert and raise somebody from the dead with the hand of God, which sounds like god-awful dreck. And also, we got more of the same, the Horcrux crap. But the Hand of God Ray stuff is the newest leak. The latest rumors are that there was massive reshoots and that George Lucas is back on set. I did hear from my insider that George Lucas was indeed brought back on the set. But, and this is a big but, and I heard from my insider prior to we got this cover, writing an article on it a few days ago. The reason I did not run with it was gut instinct. I just felt like I didn't want to run with that because there was no way to really prove it, and that's a big statement. And Doomcock and I were talking about this prior to on the Inquisition, and he made a very good point that I would 100% agree with. If Disney had George Lucas back on set, they would be telling everybody. There's no reason you would keep that secret. So I don't necessarily, I think he might have consulted. I think there's a lot of evidence that he has been helping them, especially with him being in Ireland, especially when he was attached to Game of Thrones and scouting out for Obi-Wan. But as far as George Lucas being on set, I think they would tell everybody. I mean, that would just be positive news. That would get a lot of people excited. Unless JJ's ego stopped that, and then that's a possibility. So that's another possibility to think of. Okay, back to Johnson. Johnson has no Johnson. Johnson spoke with Uproxx while promoting his Knives Out film about his status with Lucasfilm and Star Wars. Johnson stated, "I'm where I can't say anything about it, still completely in the process with it." He would add, "It's just, I don't know. It's a process means it's a process." So that means it could change. It could shift. There could be a bunch of moving parts with it. That's all the update he gives us. However, he did reveal that when he first saw The Empire Strikes Back in theaters, he was disappointed. Well, of course, he has no fracking taste. Johnson revealed that, but as a kid, I distinctly remember being disappointed by The Empire Strikes Back. Johnson would go on to admit Empire Strikes Back was the first Star Wars film that he saw and would eventually become his favorite. I think my dad took me when I was really young to see A New Hope. Okay, he starts out a sentence, "Yeah, no, I remember." Okay, that's a thing in Hollywood. This is a freaking California thing. People start their sentences by going, "Yeah, no." "Yeah, no, I want some milk." "Yeah, no, I have a penis." "Yeah, no, I will have sex with you. But let me sign these forms in triplicate." "Yeah, no, Star Trek Discovery is bad." Yeah, I don't know. That's a California thing. And, it's just another dumb thing we do. So please forgive my state for being high on ecstasy all the time or something. I don't know. Especially in context of Return of the Jedi, which as a kid, I adored. Okay, hold on a second. We're going to check some math here. Let's check some math here. One moment here. I'll let you look at his dumb round head for a second. That's pretty round head. But Rian Johnson age. He's 45. He was born in 1973. So he saw Star Wars when he was 4. There's no way in hell he remembered that. I barely remember it. I think I have 2 memories from when I was 4. So he's 45, which means he would have been, okay, so the same age I was when I saw Star Wars, when he saw Empire. He wouldn't be disappointed. He wouldn't have remembered anything. I remember walking out of Star Wars, like, loving Chewbacca. That's all I remember was Chewbacca. I was 7 when I saw it, so he would have been, 7 when Empire came out. You're not remembering much. You're not remembering you're disappointed. Hey, we were bummed. We were bummed that Han Solo got frozen in carbonite, but if we didn't hate the movie, you always want to leave him wanting more, right? So, yeah, whatever. What a moron. Rian Johnson was a total moron when he was 7. I'm just kidding. He would then praise the passion of Star Wars fans, whether that passion is expressed through anger or if it is positive. Oh, really? This is a change. I think that anything with a passionate following has a passionate following. Well, that's wise. Wow. What a philosopher director he is. And Star Wars is that, even more so. You can't be angry at one side if, oh, really? You can't be angry at one side when it's also the reason the positive is so passionate, you know? It's all part of the same thing and always was like a basic thing. That's why I love it. It's kind of interesting. You didn't say that and you don't say that on Twitter. Rumors have swirled around Rian Johnson whether or not they announced the trilogy will actually take place, given the fan feedback towards The Last Jedi, insinuating box office bomb of Solo. Johnson's comments do nothing to really address these rumors, as he indicates there is a bunch of moving parts. They haven't told him it's not happening. And here's a guess. He might be the last one to know it's not happening. When Disney, nowadays, they don't really announce they're canceling shows. They just don't re-up contracts. So that's how people find out. They don't get a re-up contract. They don't get that phone call. How Hollywood's essentially filled with a bunch of snitch cowards, and we're seeing that with the Walter Mosley incident. That's a normal incident for Hollywood, by the way. That's why I don't work there. That's why I'm not there. I don't want to be around people like that. I don't want to hang out with people like that. I don't want to hang out with people who want to have strategic friends. Like, I'll be friends with you if you can get me somewhere. F you. Go suck a bag of you-know-whats. And I don't say that often, but yeah, superficial friends. I have got no time for them. I got no time for the politics, the corporate politics, Hollywood politics, period. This guy is a master at navigating that shit, though. He is and him and Alex Kurtzman, they are birds of a feather. Those two that fell off the butt of J.J. Abrams. But, we don't have to stare at that. Let's stare. I just want to stare at. Let's cleanse our palate with God. Oh, look, there's Keanu. We love Keanu. Is there anything else? Oh, okay. So my thoughts on Knives Out. I've been thinking about this a little bit. My thoughts on Knives Out are this. Not that you care, but I guess while you care, you come to the channel. Un momento. Knives Out is low-hanging fruit. It's obvious. It got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's obvious. Access Media, Hollywood. It's going to be like porn for them. It's Orange Man porn for them. And honestly, that's where that kind of thing should be. It shouldn't be in Star Wars. It should be in a movie like that. Rian Johnson, you know what? You want to make a movie that's anti-Orange Man, and you want to base it, and you want to rip off Clue to do it, good. Keep it out of Star Wars, though. Keep it out of Star Trek. Keep it out of Doctor Who. Make your stupid little movie and work out whatever anger you have to work out or anything towards good. And guess what? I won't see it. I won't watch it. But he has every right to make that movie, and that's where I would, at Hollywood, go ahead and make your stupid political movies. Work out whatever you need to work out there. Just don't work it out in my goddamn franchises. So I can enjoy them and everybody can enjoy them. Because Hollywood, you do not exist to sway elections. You do not exist to create conversations as much as you think you do. Now, artists exist for that, but not Hollywood. Let the artist express themselves, and if they want to teach a lesson, somebody will. If they teach a lesson, somebody will learn it through it. But no lessons are going to be learned from the widget process of making a Hollywood blockbuster. It's a miracle we get stuff good anyway, considering these things. But keep it the hell out. Knives Out. I said I was going to see it. I probably won't now because honestly, that's where I think Rianne Johnson should work out his stupid, his dumb politics is over there. It's going to be a dumb movie. It's going to be basic, superficial. And, we read that IndieWire article, which, it's going to expose a lot that we already know, but sometimes that's a good thing. We want to know where they're coming from. But, yeah, I think it's okay for that movie to exist. I don't want to cancel it. I think everybody should have their voice. Just keep it out of, basic entertainment, so we can all enjoy something and take a break. But that's the key, is they don't want us to take a break. They don't want us. They want to annoy us all the time. And they do. I got to work out something more intuitive. I'm getting an Elgato Stream Deck, and I got it through JP at Egotastic Fun Times Amazon affiliate thing. So do that. It helps JP. I did an interview with JP on Egotastic Fun Time. You can check it out. I'll share it on Twitter tonight because I forgot to do that. Sorry, JP. Scarrow Trek, I sent you an email about some X-Men comics for sale. How old are they? I know somebody looking for a complete run of the Dark Phoenix saga. And they are willing to pay a top dollar for it. So if anybody wants to contact me for that, I know somebody who's willing to pay for that. I will check it out. Thank you, Scarlet Trek. Muad'Dib for $2. Hey, Gary, I'll be your friend for free. Here's $2. Right on. I listen, I don't want costly friends or high maintenance friends. And thanks, Moo. And you don't have to give it. I first watched Star Wars on a 20-inch TV on Betamax. The opening still blew me away, says Adel. Yeah. You can never relate that first scene unless you were there for the first time and heard the gasps of the audience. First time I saw Empire was a double feature of Return of the Jedi. Possible he was older than you expected. Possibly. Hyperion 9997 for $5 Canadian. Thank you. Remember the 1960s Ultraman show? It was the bestest. I remember seeing it when I was a little kid. I don't know much about it though. I mean, I was born in 69, so I don't remember anything from the 60s at all. Considering I only lived technically in 4 months of it. That's depressing. That I am the same age category as Roundhead, says Fred Richards for $5. Yes, but you have better taste, Fred. You can sleep well at night knowing that. We're supposed to believe Rey can handle a Venus automata. She might not. Who knows? I would think she wouldn't want to. Well, she can't handle her lightsaber. She's always holding it like this. George Smith for $4.99. I keep waiting for George Lucas to buy Star Wars back from Disney. Do you think he planned this all along? Sell for a lot, buy it back for a little? Disney will never sell it. Well, I won't say that. I won't say never. They won't sell it back to George while he's still alive. Marathoning DS9 now space. But George, thank you for the $4.99. I wish he would. In hindsight, it was in much better hands with him. Marathoning DS9 now. Space battles were better than STD. They were. You can't see the space battles. What STD does is you're seeing special effects on a clear screen and the lights look clear. But if you pause any moment of those space battles, it's all motion blur. You can't see anything. Sam Urai. Princess Unicorn, $1.99. What do you think of her? Oh, I already read that. So cool. And back to the chat. The camera is zoomed in. Uh-oh. Hang on. It looks fine over here. Okay, there it is. I wasn't sure. Oh, and the camera zoomed in on the show. Gotcha. Yeah. See, at least and if you watch Battlestar Galactica, they kind of did the same thing, but they're much better. They're much better at it. And the Firefly and Battlestar Galactica special effects were better than Star Trek Discovery. Changed my mind. If the reboot of Dark Crystal goes well, there will be a good chance we're getting a Farscape. Yes, we are. Sir Retsum, yes. They said that at Comic-Con. It won't be a reboot, though. They are continuing the story. So we are getting original cast, a continuation of the story. I'm guessing Netflix might be behind this. Dark Crystal has to be successful. So while I haven't seen it all, support it, watch it multiple times. Also, support Netflix for putting on Dave Chappelle. I know my two Dave Chappelle videos are a little bit out of the wheelhouse of what we do here, but free expression, free speech is what we do here. So it's not that out of the wheelhouse, and that's something I'm not afraid to talk about. I don't think that's a partisan issue. I think it's a human issue. It's an issue that we need to keep sacred. And as you can see, we're seeing people like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm not going to agree with him on a whole lot of things. Wasn't a Laker fan. I don't smoke pot. But I liked him in Airplane quite a bit. And you know what? He wrote something that was really, really good in the Hollywood Reporter. But I'll support his right for free expression. And that's all I want here. I don't feel free to express myself here. YouTube, to their credit, I rarely get demonetized. I can cuss once in a while. But there's certain things I absolutely cannot say that I want to, but I can't, or my channel will get a lot of trouble. So maybe I'll save it for Patreon. But and listen, it's not edgy stuff. It's just stuff I'd like to get into, but YouTube doesn't like it. No. There's names you can't mention. You mention a name, instantly demonetized. Wow, Thomas, that's awesome. Should I go back on a run? I'm not going to rewatch them all in order. I rewatched all of Doctor Who in order 3 years ago. What I have, it's not all of Doctor Who, is what I had. And now I'm just kind of back and forth. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. Nah, it takes too much time. I want to rewatch Star Trek in order. That's what I want to rewatch. Doctor Who, I'm just gonna, it's whatever I'm feeling like watching. I watched a little bit of City of Death today. And when Terrence Dix died, I watched all of Robot. God dang, Tom Baker was a genius. Genius. But Thomas Williams says, it took me 6 months to rewatch all 700 episodes of the original Doctor Who. God, is it 700? Is it 700? Holy Jesus. 700. I wish they would go back. I mean, like if they fix Doctor Who, or they could do a side series. I wish they would do a web series with Paul McGann and do the serials again. Do the half-hour serials again. That would be great. That would be great. Netflix's Love, Death, and Robots is amazing. As Zethma Productions. Yes, it is. Oh, let me get that right. As Zethma Productions. Did I say that right, or is it Zethma Productions? Farscape is awesome. I was doing first-time Farscape reviews, and it got totally messed up. But I was watching Farscape for the first time because I recently got into it, and then I would do a review with the fresh eyes. But then things got messed up, and So if I do that with another show, I'm just going to do it by myself. I'm probably going to do it with Stargate. With Stargate, that'll be next year. Dreary Nitpicker for $4.99 started watching Farscape. Thanks for the recommendation. Claudia Black is just yummy in that. Claudia Black is my kind of gal. My kind of gal. She's a great video game voice actor. Sexy AF voice. Yes. Woke Troll for $2. A little tip. Well, tip to the hat. Tip of the hat. Thank you, Woke Troll. Also, I would be honored if you check out my channel, my name, Light on content at the moment, but it is mine. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. And by the way, that was Adelmork Ofdel. I am your first subscriber. How's that sound? Adelmork Ofdel, I subscribe to your channel. Done. And thank you for the Norwegian 50 crowns. You'll get an email. So there you go. I am subscribed. All right, we're going to read a little more chat here. I love reading the chat. This is great. What's up? Well, I've just missed Moods of Madness. I got about 5 episodes into Buffy and having trouble getting into it. Yeah, it's of its time, Moods of Madness. So, I mean, I'm old and I watched it in the 90s in context and I freaking love it. I'm going to be reviewing it with, I got to hurry up, but Mahler's almost done. And he's rewatching it in order. And we're going to talk about it on a live stream. And yeah, I mean, you'll actually hear us critiquing something we like a lot, but there's still critiques to be made, but you can't make Buffy and Angel anymore. And it has Buffy and Angel. Listen, Joss Whedon's an a-hole. I don't like Joss Whedon. I don't. He had talent though. Before his mind broke in 2016, he had a lot of talent, but he also had a lot of demons and he's a big fat hypocrite. Quote unquote male feminist. Yeah, well, we know how that always turns around. But Buffy and Angel were great. Some of the best character development I've ever seen. And while I like Whedon speak when it's in his stuff, I don't like it when other people try to do it. And what's happened lately, Moons of Madness, is so many people have tried to imitate him 20 years after he was even relevant. So Mrs. Nerdrotic and I really enjoyed Buffy together. Yeah, you know, that's like, listen, I know a lot of people aren't going to like it. I'm an unabashed fan of Harry Potter. Yes. Don't unsub. But J.K. Rowling is absolutely insane. And this just in, we're all still gay, according to J.K. Rowling. But I enjoyed it with my kids. It's something, I used to do a lot of traveling at the comic shop. We'd listen to the audiobooks with my kids. They got into it. I got into it. I like Harry Potter. So what? The movies are okay, but JK's crazy. Gary, Conan Exiles, best attribute layout. Conan Exiles, best attribute layout. Quick. What's that? Joni Baloney. Translate that for me. Gary, Conan Exiles, best attribute layout. Quick. I'm going to look it up. Oh, wow. I'm looking at the art. That's pretty cool. Conan Exiles is an open world survival game that's set in the lands of Conan the Barbarian. Survive in a savage world, build a home and a kingdom, and dominate your enemies. Yes! In epic warfare, use the powerful building system to create anything from small home to entire cities. All right. That looks pretty damn cool. Here, let me let's hang on. Wrong thing. Hang on. That's pretty dope. That is pretty dope. There's nothing wrong with that. But thank you. I will bookmark that. All right. And Alita, there we go. And thank you, Joni. Conan. I remember Conan the comic. But yeah, it's cool. Thank you, Joni, for $2. My dad, 60 plus at the time, turned me on to Potter. Says Dark Knight of Thrones. Yes, Potter is okay. You might not like JK. Again, she's crazy. I don't know. Honestly, there's nothing she's written anything like the Potter books. So I just don't know where it came from. Maybe it was beamed down by aliens or something. But it's a good story. It's a good story. It's good. It's not woke. It's a good normal story with a bad guy. She borrowed a lot from Lord of the Rings. She borrowed from Star Wars, but now Star Wars is going to borrow from her. And yeah, it's a generation Star Wars. It is. There you go. Thank you, Joni, by the way. Conan is brilliant. Is MS3TK going to make another season or any news? I don't think so. Well, I don't know. I think they did that one on they did the remake on Netflix. No, I was watching because I don't think it's the original people, right? I forgot what they're called now. They're doing something else, and they did something with the three doctors, and I watched that in the movie theater. Working on a project you inspired by Exozone. Thank you, Drury Nitpicker. I can't wait to see it. Thank you. Alte Mork Ofdel for 20 Norwegian crowns. Did you ever give your boys review? No. And the reason is because they dropped it all at once. By the time I could get a coherent review going, it's like far too late. So, I did a review of the first episode. It's on Nerdrotic Live, and I actually got to see that a long time ago before it aired. I got a preview from Derek. It's good. It's good. I have some problems with it, but it's good. Jillian Calderon for $2. So that's another show you should watch is The Boys. I'm looking forward to Stargate review next year. Yeah, I will do it. Good Omens is a good show as well. It's a pretty damn good show. All right. We're going to wrap things up. It is time to go. It is time to go. So everybody, thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. You can find this on Nerdrotic Live in about an hour or so. What's up? What's up there? Are you going to do a comic for Indiegogo? Am I? No. Never. Never. I'll publicize other people's, but no, I am never going to do a comic. Mike S. Miller. No, I will probably do, I'm going to probably do a I'm going to crowdfund my comic shop. I'll probably need a little scratch to get going, but that's a ways away. Robert Murray for $5. Hail Gary, just joined your Patreon, turned on during Game of Thrones season 8 debacle, but love the channel. Robert, welcome. Thank you for the $5. Thank you for joining Patreon. You can join my Patreon at patreon.com/nerdrotic. Please subscribe to Nerdrotic. And please subscribe to Nerdrotic Live. Go to nerdrotic.com for my live stream schedule. The next live stream will be tomorrow morning, about 10:30 a.m. Then I'm going to be joining Anna, that Star Wars girl, on Geeks and Gamers with Jesse Milestone. And we're going to talk about some of the BS she's gone through. And I'm there to show my support for Anna. I openly support Anna. So she just dropped a video on Geeks and Gamers. She's been dealing with some trolls and stuff. The internet's going to be the internet, but I'm going to show my support, Thank you. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Penn Farm Girl. It's good to see you. Thank you, Mary Ashmead, for your wrench. Thank you, Mark Lazurth. Thank you, Matthew Matson. Thank you, Nyla Shadow. Did I miss any wrenches? Is there any more wrenches there? Thank you, everybody in the chat. It was great talk. Chris Persia. What's up, buddy? Chris Persia. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats before I go there. I don't think I did, but so Jillian, Stargate. I'm going to start from scratch, and I don't want anybody to ruin anything for me, and I'll watch it and I'll tell you if I like it or not. Can't do that with Farscape now though. It's too bad. So I will see you all tomorrow, and remember, kids, not all who wander